The Three Doors of Destiny, a mind-opening story. Imagine for a moment that you're standing at the threshold of your future. Three doors stand before you, each bathed in a strange, mysterious light. Behind each of these doors lies a path, a choice that will define who you become. The catch? Once you choose, there's no going back. The first door is radiant with gold. It promises comfort, riches, and a life of indulgence. But it also whispers of loneliness, of a hollow existence beyond the surface. The second door is shadowed in a dull, almost foreboding gray. It offers a life of sacrifice, filled with struggle, but also potential for great reward, if you can endure the hardships. And the third door is translucent, made of sparkling crystal, glowing with an ethereal light. It promises freedom. An open road where anything is possible but with no guarantees. It's a path of uncertainty, one that might either fulfill your wildest dreams or lead you into an unknown abyss. Which door will you choose? Part 1. The Decision. The room is vast, eerily silent, and yet it feels as though the very air is charged with energy, vibrating with the weight of impending destiny. The walls are blank, the floor made of polished stone, and the lighting, though dim, creates an atmosphere of quiet suspense. You feel it as soon as you enter, the sense that something monumental is about to unfold. Before you stand three doors. Each one is unlike the others, and each represents a separate future, a path that will shape the course of your life. Your heart races as you take in the sight of the doors, feeling as though the very fabric of reality is holding its breath, waiting for your choice. You feel the gravity of the moment. A single decision could set in motion everything that will come after. Every possibility lies within your reach, and yet you feel paralyzed, unsure of which path to take. It's as though you've stepped into a dream and time is slowing down, giving you more room to think, to feel, to question. The first door stands before you, glowing with a warm, golden light. The gold is so brilliant that it almost seems to shimmer, as if the door itself is alive, pulsing with a life force of its own. There is an immediate allure, an undeniable pull that makes your breath catch in your throat. The door promises something. You've always longed for luxury, wealth, comfort. As you stand there gazing at it, your mind begins to wander, imagining the life you could lead behind it. You see yourself waking up in a bed of silk sheets, stretching lazily, surrounded by luxury. The finest clothes hang in your closet. Designer suits, evening gowns that cost more than a year's worth of salary for most. The scent of expensive cologne fills the air as you step into your private car, ready to take you to a world where every desire is instantly fulfilled. The idea of never having to worry about money, status, or security, of having the freedom to buy whatever you want, whenever you want, it's intoxicating. The door before you offers unlimited abundance, a life of endless pleasure. But even as your mind is seduced by the allure of material wealth, a quiet voice inside you begins to question. What would a life of luxury truly be like? Would it be enough? Would it fill the hole inside of you that has always craved something more, something deeper? You think of the stories you've heard of wealthy people, surrounded by gold and yet plagued by loneliness, dissatisfaction, and a constant fear that the world only values them for their money. What is success if it leaves you disconnected from what truly matters? What would it be like to have everything and still feel like something is missing? You take a step back from the golden door as the weight of your thoughts presses heavily on your chest. But your eyes can't help but linger on the door, wondering if that life, one of wealth and indulgence, would finally bring the happiness you've always yearned for. Next, your gaze shifts to the second door. It's so starkly different from the first that it almost feels like a shock to your senses. The door is gray, weathered, its edges rough and jagged, as if it's been through countless storms, standing resilient in the face of time. It has an almost austere quality, a solemnity that immediately contrasts with the golden door. This is not a door of ease, but of sacrifice, of toil and determination. The promise here is not of wealth or luxury, but of something far more abstract. purpose. Behind this door, you envision a life built on sweat and perseverance. You see yourself waking up every day to a challenge, fighting against the odds, pushing yourself to the brink of exhaustion. You'll be tested, perhaps more than you've ever been tested before. Your body and mind will be stretched, and there will be moments when you wonder if you can keep going. The path before you is paved with difficulty and uncertainty, but it's also paved with meaning. Every small victory will be earned, every achievement will be hard-fought, and there will be a quiet pride in knowing that you've built your life with your own hands. There's something deeply honorable about this path. It appeals to a part, view that craves authenticity, the feeling that your success will be the result of your own sweat, effort, and sacrifice. This door offers no guarantees, no shortcuts, and no easy answers. It will demand everything from you, but if you endure, there is the promise of true growth, the feeling of standing at the summit, knowing that you earned your place. And yet, even as you contemplate the value of this struggle, there's a part of you that wonders, what if the struggle never ends? Will it be worth it? Will the cost of sacrifice, be it the erosion of your health, the time lost with loved ones, or the exhaustion of your spirit, be something you can bear? How much are you willing to give in the pursuit of meaning? For a moment, the weight of this choice becomes almost unbearable. Your mind races, considering what it would be like to live a life of grit and resolve, to rise each morning knowing that the world is demanding everything from you, but that your reward will come in the form of personal growth. And yet you can't help but ask yourself, will this path leave me empty? Finally, your eyes move to the third door. Unlike the others, this door does not gleam with gold or bear the weight of sacrifice. Instead, it is made of crystal, transparent yet glowing with an ethereal light. The door radiates freedom, and with it a sense of infinite possibility. The allure of this door is immediate, and it draws you in like a magnet. The crystal shimmers as if it holds the potential of countless futures within its form. Stepping through this door means leaving behind everything, boundaries, expectations, and limits. As you stand before it, you can almost feel the limitless freedom it promises. Behind this door, you can forge your own path with no rules. No, there's the very idea of freedom electrifies your soul. You could leave the life you know behind and set off into the unknown, crafting a future shaped solely by your choices. You could become anyone, do anything. The door offers a chance to escape the constraints of a predefined path, to take risks, and to explore the world without the burden of obligation. There would be no expectations, no one telling you what you should or shouldn't do. It's a world where you can embrace every desire, every whim, and seek out every adventure. The idea of freedom without limits is exhilarating, intoxicating. You imagine waking up in a new city every year, meeting new people, living in a state of constant reinvention. The world is yours for the taking. The opportunities are endless. You could become an artist, a traveler, a creator, a person whose destiny is not shaped by anyone but themselves. And yet, as you imagine this life, something stirs inside you, a lingering question. Is freedom enough if it leaves you directionless? Without boundaries, would you lose the very sense of purpose you seek? Would freedom become a prison of uncertainty, a chaotic swirl of choices with no anchor to hold you steady? The more you think about it, the more you wonder, would freedom ultimately leave you feeling lost? Would the absence of structure lead to a lack of fulfillment, a constant search for meaning in a world that offers no clear answers? As your mind spins with thoughts of what could be, the weight of the decision becomes almost unbearable. Each path pulls at you, offering something different, something vital. The choice is yours, but how can you know which one to choose? The golden door promises wealth and ease. The gray door offers sacrifice, but with it the possibility of true purpose. The crystal door offers freedom, but at the risk of losing yourself in the vastness of endless possibilities. With a deep breath, you realize that this is not just a decision about where you will go, but about who you will become. Every step forward will shape your future, And yet, no matter how hard you try, you cannot shake the feeling that once you choose, there will be no going back. You stand there, trembling with the weight of the moment, and the air seems to hold its breath along with you. The decision is yours, but will you choose wisely? Part 2. The path of luxury. As you step through the golden door, an overwhelming wave of warmth and light floods your senses. The air is heavy with a sweet, intoxicating scent, fresh flowers, rich perfumes, and the faint undertone of something expensive. Everything here is immaculate, pristine, as though it's been designed not just for comfort, but to elicit awe. The floor beneath your feet is marble, cold, smooth, and shining like a mirror, reflecting your every step. You can almost hear the faint echo of your own footsteps as they reverberate through the expansive space. The room you've entered is nothing short of extraordinary. Tall windows stretch from floor to ceiling, allowing sunlight to pour in and bathe the space in a golden glow. Expensive art hangs on the walls, paintings so beautiful that you feel they could speak to your soul, whispering stories of wealth and history. Chandelier crystals catch the light, scattering rainbows across the room. Every corner of this place is adorned with riches, and the air hums with a sense of luxury so palpable you can almost touch it. A sense of wonder fills you as you take it all in. The life that awaits you here is unlike anything you've ever known. You can't help but smile as your eyes move over the carefully placed furniture, each piece more exquisite than the last. Plush couches, delicate sculptures, and fine glassware. Everything about this space speaks to wealth, status, and the finest tastes. It's a dream come true. The promise of comfort and indulgence, a life free from the constraints of worry, is right in front of you. You feel a shift within yourself, a new energy, one of ease and relaxation. There are no more concerns about how to make ends meet. No more wondering if you'll be able to pay bills or whether you'll have enough for tomorrow. Here there is no shortage of anything. Everything you could possibly want is at your fingertips, and for the first time in your life, you are free of fear. You are no longer burdened by the stresses of daily survival. The golden door has granted you a freedom that feels like a luxury in itself. Soon, people begin to enter your life, people in tailored suits and elegant dresses, their faces lit up with the kind of respect reserved for royalty. They speak to you with a reverence that makes you feel important, admired, as though you are somehow more than you were before. They call you sir or ma'am as they bow slightly, offering you their assistance. One offers you a glass of sparkling champagne, and another a small plate of delicate hors d'oeuvres. The world is a blur of perfection. You are treated like royalty. It's intoxicating at first. The lavishness, the constant stream of attention, the effortless beauty of it all. Everywhere you look, people are catering to your desires, ensuring you never want for anything. You are adored, wanted, and revered. This is a life that everyone dreams of. A life where you are not just a participant, but the center of it all. As the days pass, the life behind the golden door becomes even more indulgent. You awaken each morning to the sound of gentle music and the scent of fresh flowers in the air. A personal assistant is waiting by your bedside, ready to fulfill any request, large or small. Everything is provided for you. You never have to lift a finger. Your wardrobe is filled with garments crafted by the finest designers. The meals you eat are made by renowned chefs, and they are nothing short of extraordinary. The food, rich and decadent, fills your senses with pleasure. Every bite is an experience, every dish more exquisite than the last. You find yourself spending the days attending luxurious parties and galas. Wealthy individuals surround you, and their conversations are filled with the language of opulence. You're introduced to powerful business leaders, famous actors, influential figures who are eager to be seen in your presence. You are invited to private yacht parties, exclusive retreats, and private islands that are available only to the select few. The world feels like it is yours for the taking. You can go anywhere, do anything, and everyone wants to be near you. And yet, beneath the surface of this perfect existence, something begins to stir, an undercurrent of unease that grows more insistent as time passes. At first, it's easy to dismiss. You remind yourself that you are living a life most people only dream of. What could possibly be wrong with this? But as the days turn into weeks, you begin to notice something troubling. The people around you, those who fawn over you and praise your every move, don't seem to really know you. They admire your wealth, your power, your presence. They want something from you, whether it's your money, your connections, or simply the opportunity to bask in your glow. But no one seems interested in who you truly are beneath the surface. No one seems to care about your thoughts, your feelings, your soul. At the lavish dinner parties, everyone speaks of their fortunes, their newest acquisitions, their latest triumphs in business, but the conversations never go deeper. It's all surface level. You begin to feel as though you are nothing more than a symbol of wealth, a trophy that people admire from afar, but never truly see. You realize that the admiration you receive isn't about who you are. It's about what you have. And what happens when the admiration fades? What happens when all that you've built, all that you've accumulated, no longer satisfies the hunger deep inside of you? There are nights when you retreat to your grand estate, feeling an overwhelming loneliness, in the emptiness of your gilded world. Is this what it's all about? You are surrounded by riches, but you feel a profound absence. The luxury that once filled you with joy now feels like a cage. The silken sheets, the private jets, the champagne toasts, they seem to pale in comparison to the emptiness you feel when you're alone with your thoughts. The world you've entered is breathtaking, but it's also cold, hollow. You begin to wonder if all this wealth and comfort has come at the expense of something far more important: human connection. You can buy anything with money, but you can't buy the warmth of a genuine friendship, the depth of real love. You can't buy someone who truly cares about you, not because of your wealth, but because of who you are. The realization hits you one evening as you sit alone in your expansive home, staring out at the view from your window. The city below twinkles with lights, a dazzling reflection of the wealth and power you have accumulated. But inside you feel small, insignificant. The people around you are beautiful and charming, but they feel like shadows, incapable of offering the depth and authenticity you crave. The life you've chosen, the life behind the golden door, is not as fulfilling as you thought it would be. Is this really happiness? The question echoes in your mind as you sip your drink, the bubbles fizzling like the fleeting nature of the satisfaction you feel. It is fleeting because you realize that what truly matters can't be bought or sold. You've achieved what many would consider the pinnacle of success, yet you feel as though something vital is missing. The golden door has given you everything, except for meaning. Part 3. The Path of Sacrifice. You step through the gray door, feeling an immediate shift in the atmosphere. The warmth of the golden room is replaced by a sharp, biting cold that makes you feel awake, alert. There's a heaviness in the air here, a weight that settles on your shoulders as soon as you enter. The starkness of the room around you feels almost oppressive. No grandeur, no luxury, only bare walls, and an austere silence that permeates the space. It's as though you've crossed into a different world entirely, one defined by discipline, struggle, and resolve. The floor beneath your feet is made of rough concrete, scuffed and worn, its texture harsh against your shoes. There are no windows, no paintings, no soft lighting to soothe you. Instead, you're surrounded by the hum of machinery, the sound of construction, of progress being forged through sweat and effort. As you stand in the center of this new world, it becomes clear that this is a world that does not reward ease, but the grind of sheer willpower. The path ahead is not paved with comfort, but with endless challenges and obstacles. You take a deep breath and feel the weight of the decision settling in your chest. This is not a world of indulgence. This is the world of hard-earned success. Here, your value will not come from the things you can buy, but from the things you can achieve with your own hands. Through your effort, your labor, your sacrifice, your journey begins with small, seemingly insignificant tasks. Building something from nothing. You're handed a set of tools, basic and worn but powerful in their own way, and directed to begin working. The tasks are physically demanding, mentally exhausting. You learn quickly that nothing is given freely in this place. Every success is hard-won. You start with something simple, a pile of bricks and mortar. At first you aren't sure what you're building, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the work. You kneel down, your muscles aching, your fingers stiff with the cold of the stone and the weight of the labor. The mortar sticks to your hands, and as you lay each brick down, you realize that this work is more than just construction. It's a metaphor for your life. Every brick represents a small victory. Every layer of mortar signifies the effort it takes to build something that lasts. The sweat on your brow is not just a sign of hard work. It's proof that you are creating something, slowly but surely. Days turn into weeks, and the tasks grow more complicated, more physically demanding. You build walls, climb scaffolding, lift beams that seem impossibly heavy. Your hands become calloused, your body sore and bruised. There are moments when the exhaustion is so overwhelming, you wonder if you can continue. Your muscles ache, your mind grows foggy, and there are times when you feel like giving up, when the weight of the work threatens to break you. But there is something about this path that is different from the golden door. Here, your accomplishments are real. You can see the fruits of your labor taking shape before your eyes. The first wall you build stands tall and strong. The first beam you secure is solid and unwavering. There's a deep satisfaction in these simple moments, a pride in knowing that you've created something with your own hands. This is not a life of luxury, but it is a life of substance. Each day you grow stronger, not just physically, but in your very spirit. And then comes the moment when the true weight of sacrifice becomes clear. You are faced with a choice: continue building the life you have started here, brick by brick, or take a step back to revisit the choice you made at the very beginning. There is a tension between these two paths, the path of discipline and sacrifice, and the path of ease and indulgence that you abandoned when you chose this one. Late one night, as you sit alone in the dim light of a small room, nursing your aching hands and reflecting on the day's work, you realize that this life requires more than just effort. It demands everything from you. It requires time, energy, relationships, and sometimes your very soul. The toll is heavy. You find yourself constantly worn down, mentally and physically drained. The friends you once knew, the relationships you used to cherish, seem to fade into the background, as if the path of sacrifice demands that you leave behind everything that doesn't directly serve your goal. As weeks turn into months, you notice the subtle changes in yourself. The deep connection you once had with others begins to fray at the edges. You spend more and more time alone, working tirelessly, while those around you live lives that seem full of joy, leisure, and laughter. It's not that you're unhappy. Far from it. There's a deep sense of purpose in the work you do, but the loneliness is palpable, and at times you find yourself asking if the sacrifices you've made have been worth it. Is this what success looks like? As weeks turn into months, you notice the subtle changes in yourself. The deep connection you once had with others begins to fray at the edges. You spend more and more time alone, working tirelessly, while those around you live lives that seem full of joy, leisure, and laughter. It's not that you're unhappy, far from it. There's a deep sense of purpose in the work you do. But the loneliness is palpable, and at times you find yourself asking if the sacrifices you've made have been worth it. Is this what success looks like? Your relationships grow more strained. Your family, your friends, they can't understand your drive. They see you as distant, detached, consumed by your need to succeed. They don't see the victories you've won, the progress you've made, or the personal growth you've achieved. They only see the emptiness that has come from pouring so much of yourself into your work and leaving little for the people you love. The cost of sacrifice is more than just physical. It's emotional. It's the missing pieces of your soul, the fragments of joy you once had but now cannot seem to grasp. You begin to understand the truth, that a life of sacrifice, while rewarding, can leave a person hollow, in unexpected ways. There are victories, yes, but they come at the cost of connection. You ask yourself, what is success if it isolates you from the people who matter most? One evening, as you sit at the edge of a construction site, gazing at the work you've accomplished, a massive building standing tall against the darkening sky, you feel a deep sense of pride. You've built something monumental, something that will last. But as you stare at the finished structure, you feel an emptiness settling in. What good is a monument if there's no one left to share it with? The building, tall and impressive, is an achievement, but it feels cold and empty without the people you love to fill it with meaning. There is growth here. You've grown stronger, more resilient, more capable than you were before. Your body has changed, your mind has sharpened, and your resolve is unbreakable. But you also realize that sacrifice is a double-edged sword. The more you build, the more you lose. The more you give, the less you have to offer in return. The sacrifices you've made for success are real, but so too are the losses. What is success if it costs you everything? And yet, as you pick up the tools again, preparing to build something new, you can't help but wonder, if you continue down this path, will the cost ever stop? Will you ever reach a point where the sacrifices you've made will be enough, where you'll be able to find peace in the knowledge that your work has been meaningful? Or will this path, like the others, continue to demand more of you than you have to give? The answer is not clear, but for now, you pick up the hammer and continue, determined to finish what you started, knowing that every step forward takes you one step closer to something that may or may not be the life you've dreamed of. Part 4. The Path of Wisdom. You step through the third door, the Path of Wisdom, and immediately feel a shift. This place feels different, not in the way the previous rooms did, but in a deeper, quieter sense. The air is thick with a palpable sense of introspection, as if every inch of the space holds centuries of knowledge waiting to be uncovered. There are no glaring lights or garish decorations here. Everything is subtle, understated, yet undeniably powerful. It's a sanctuary of thought, a place where the mind can roam free and the soul can find solace. The first thing you notice is the silence. It's not the silence of emptiness, but a rich, almost sacred quiet that presses in on you, urging you to listen, to learn. The walls are lined with shelves that seem to stretch forever, filled with books of every shape and size, their spines worn with the weight of years, centuries even. Some books are ancient, their pages fragile and yellowed, while others seem newer, perhaps written just for this moment. But all of them are full of knowledge, and the mere presence of these texts gives you a sense of reverence. As you move deeper into the room, you realize that it is not just books that surround you. There are artifacts, delicate sculptures, ancient tools, objects of great historical significance. Every item seems to hold a story, a lesson, a fragment of wisdom gathered over the ages. Some are familiar to you, while others are alien, their meanings elusive but strangely compelling. You feel drawn to them, as though each object is speaking to you in its own way, urging you to understand its purpose, to learn from its history. The floor beneath your feet is soft, made of something like moss or velvet, cushioning each step and making you feel light and grounded at once. The lighting here is gentle, coming from soft, ambient sources. Candles flickering quietly in the corners, lamps that cast pools of warm light over the pages of books and the objects they illuminate. It's a place of peace. You move towards the center of the room, and there, in the heart of this sanctuary, is an older man. His hair is silver, his face marked by years of wisdom and experience. He is sitting cross-legged on the floor, a small wooden table in front of him, on which lies a book. His eyes are closed, his hands resting on his knees. There is an aura of deep serenity around him, as though he is both present and transcendent, simultaneously part of this world and beyond it. His presence is not intimidating but inviting. He seems to be waiting, almost as though he expects you. You approach, unsure of what to say, yet somehow knowing that silence is the language of this place. After a long pause, the man opens his eyes slowly, meeting your gaze with a knowing look that seems to pierce straight into your soul. He doesn't speak at first. He simply observes you, and in that moment, you feel both seen and unseen, as if all of your choices, your struggles, your joys, your fears are laid bare before him. Finally, after what seems like an eternity, he speaks, his voice soft but filled with gravity. "So, you've come to seek wisdom," he says, his tone neither judgmental nor congratulatory, but simply acknowledging your presence. "But do you know what wisdom truly is?" You shake your head, unsure of how to respond. The question catches you off guard, and yet it feels profoundly important. "Many people think wisdom is simply knowing a lot," he continues. "They think it's about having all the answers, having knowledge that others don't possess. But wisdom is not just knowledge. Wisdom is understanding. It is not only about what you know, but about how you live what you know. Wisdom is the ability to navigate the complexities of life with grace, compassion, and awareness." He pauses, allowing the weight of his words to sink in. Wisdom is not something you acquire from a book alone. It comes from experience, from pain and joy, from mistakes made and lessons learned. It comes from understanding the delicate balance between the heart and the mind, between doing and being. The words resonate with you, yet you cannot help but feel a sense of doubt. You've lived through many experiences already. Each of the doors you've passed through has shaped you in some way. The life of luxury showed you the cost of comfort. The path of sacrifice taught you the value of hard work and effort. But this feels different. It's as if the question is not just about acquiring knowledge, but about transforming. You wonder if you're truly ready for what lies ahead. The old man seems to sense your hesitation. He gestures toward the table in front of him where an open book lies. "Come," he invites. "Sit with me. We will begin with something simple." You sit down, cross-legged, as he motions to the book. The text is written in an ancient language, one you do not understand. But somehow you know it is not the words themselves that matter. The man begins to read aloud, his voice soft and melodic, and as he speaks you feel a strange shift inside you, a subtle change, like the opening of a door in your own mind. The words don't make logical sense at first, but then they start to weave together, forming an understanding that is deeper than intellect. It is not the information that matters, but the experience of it. You begin to understand that wisdom isn't just about knowing something, it's about feeling it, embodying it. The text begins to speak not to your mind, but to your soul. You realize that the more you sit with these words, the more your own understanding grows, not just of the book, but of life itself. As the man continues to read, the room around you seems to transform. The quiet becomes rich with meaning, each object in the room now whispering its own story. The silence is no longer just a void, but a space filled with potential. The flickering candlelight, the soft rustle of pages, the gentle hum of your own breath. Everything here speaks of a truth that is elusive, yet ever present. At some point, the man stops reading, and for a long time, there is nothing but silence. Between the two of you, he doesn't ask if you understand, doesn't demand an answer. Instead, he simply waits, giving you the space to absorb everything that has been offered. And then, in that silence, you realize something profound. Wisdom is not a destination. It is not something to be achieved or obtained. It is a way of being, a way of seeing the world through different eyes. It is the ability to approach each moment with a quiet mind, an open heart, and a deep sense of presence. The old man smiles softly, as if he can sense the shift inside you. "You are ready to begin the real work now," he says gently. "Wisdom is not about the answers you find, but about the questions you are willing to ask. It's about embracing the unknown with grace and trusting that the journey will reveal itself when you are ready." With that, he slowly rises, his movements deliberate and peaceful. You do the same, standing tall but changed, not necessarily smarter but more aware. The path of wisdom has only just begun, but already you feel a deep, quiet understanding growing inside you. You know now that true wisdom will never be something you can hold in your hands. It will be something you live, something you embody. As you leave the room, you feel the weight of the choices you've made, the doors you've passed through, and you realize that wisdom is not a path of certainty, but one of continuous discovery. The journey is endless, but it is also where the answers lie, hidden not in the world around you, but in the way you engage with it. Part 5. The Ultimate Realization. As you stand before the 3 doors once more, the weight of your journey presses upon you. For a long while you simply stare at the doors, the coldness of their frames a stark reminder of the choices that once seemed so clear. The light that glows from each is still as alluring, still as mysterious, but now those paths no longer feel like destinations. Instead, they feel like pieces of a larger puzzle. A puzzle you've been trying to solve ever since you walked through those first doors. You wonder what you might have missed in your initial decisions, and what the roads behind those doors truly offered. The life of luxury, the life of sacrifice, the life of freedom. Each path was a promise, but they were also more than that. They were reflections of different parts of yourself, different desires, different fears. But those desires, those fears, didn't simply vanish when you chose one over the other. No, they lived within you, quietly waiting to reveal themselves when the time was right. You reflect on the golden door first, the allure of luxury, of endless pleasure, of a life that promised ease and comfort. At first it had seemed so irresistible. Who wouldn't want to live in a mansion, wear the finest clothes, and have the admiration of thousands? The dream of luxury seemed so simple, so perfect. It was easy to believe that everything you needed in life could be obtained with wealth, money, fame, and all the trappings of success. But now you understand that the promises of the golden door were hollow. The riches you sought didn't bring fulfillment. You had what the world told you should make you happy, yet you were more isolated than ever. The people around you weren't interested in you. They were interested in your possessions, your status, the power you could offer them. And with every passing day, you felt more like a puppet, pulled by the strings of expectations and superficial desires. The golden door didn't lead to freedom or joy. It led to a prison of your own making, a gilded cage where the walls were invisible but suffocating nonetheless. Then there was the door of sacrifice, the gray-weathered door with its promise of hard work and endless toil. The path it offered was one of struggle, where success could only be gained through sweat, determination, and resilience. It wasn't a glamorous life, not at first glance, but it had seemed appealing in its honesty. There were no illusions of grandeur, just the pure, unadulterated satisfaction of earning your place in the world. You remember how, at first, the road seemed impossible. The weight of the world seemed to press down on your shoulders, and every step forward felt like a battle. The work was grueling, the sacrifices many. Relationships withered as you focused more on your goals than on the people around you. But even in those dark moments, something kept you going. The promise of growth, the understanding that the struggle itself was shaping you, forging a stronger version of yourself. As you reflect now, you understand that sacrifice gave you something that luxury never could. It gave you a sense of purpose. The hard work and the toll it took on you were part of a greater narrative. The story of someone who persevered, who fought against the odds. But you also see the cost. You gave up so much, your time, your health, your relationships, all for a future that might not even be as fulfilling as you hoped. Success was earned, yes, but at what price? And in the end, was it truly worth it? And then, there's the door of freedom, the crystal-clear door that promised boundless possibilities, where there were no restrictions and no limits. The world on the other side was uncharted, wild, full of potential. You were free to choose anything, to shape your own reality. Talk to a world where everything felt possible. How could you resist? But you know now that freedom is not as simple as it first appeared. It's not an escape from responsibility or consequences. At first, the idea of unlimited possibilities was intoxicating, the freedom to travel, to explore, to follow your passions, without worrying about the judgment of others. It felt like liberation. The world was yours, and for a while, you reveled in that wild, open landscape. But freedom, as you've discovered, is a heavy burden. It's an endless ocean, vast and untamed, where each wave carries you in a new direction without a clear destination. It's exhilarating, yes, but it's also terrifying. The more choices you make, the more you realize that every choice comes with consequences, and the weight of those consequences rests on you alone. There are no safety nets here, no guarantees. You are left to navigate a world that is as unpredictable as it is open. And so, as you stand before these 3 doors now, you realize the truth. There is no perfect path. Each one offers something valuable, but each one also comes with its own set of challenges, its own contradictions. None of them will make you whole. None of them will solve all your problems or give you the answers you seek. The real lesson lies not in the doors themselves, but in the way you choose to walk through them. You now understand that life is not about choosing the right door, it's about how you respond to the path before you. It's about the choices you make in the moment, not just the grand, sweeping decisions, but the little choices you make every day. Life is not a series of neatly packaged options behind closed doors. It's an unpredictable journey, filled with both beauty and hardship, light and dark. You've seen the path of luxury, and you've seen what it hides beneath the surface. You've walked the road of sacrifice, and you know the value of hard-earned success. You've tasted the freedom of a life unbound by any expectations, and while it was liberating, it also taught you the importance of responsibility, of grounding yourself. All of these paths, in the end, are parts of a greater whole. They're pieces of the puzzle, but not the entire picture. What you've learned is that the choice isn't about finding the best path or the right door. It's about embracing the journey. It's about how you grow from each experience, how you navigate the highs and lows, the successes and failures. The truth is that the world doesn't owe you a perfect future, and no door can offer you an easy answer. What each door offers is simply the chance to become the person you're meant to be, through the choices you make, through the struggles you endure, and through the wisdom you gain along the way. And so, as you stand before the 3 doors once more, you realize that the journey isn't over. It will never be over. There will always be more doors, more choices to make, more lessons to learn. The key is to walk through them with courage, with humility, and with the understanding that the journey, no matter how uncertain, is the true destination. The doors remain before you, but now their mystery has been unraveled. It's not about choosing the perfect path. It's about embracing the one you're on and shaping it with every step you take. This extended Part 5 goes deeper into the protagonist's reflection, exploring the emotional weight of their realizations and allowing for a more nuanced understanding of the journey they've taken. It highlights that each path offers valuable lessons and that the choices they make shape who they are, regardless of the outcome. Let me know if you'd like any further modifications or additions. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed the story. Let me know in the comments what ideas you would like the next story to be about. Please leave a thumbs up, share, subscribe, comment.